when you're a creative, sometimes you got to look at things differently.
Putting our heads together. Hi, I'm Rebecca, and I'm a creative.
Hi, I'm Raphael, and I'm a creative.
And this is Creatives on Creatives. So, Ray, what made you want to get into graphic design / art in school?
Well, I always liked to draw growing up, and my idea was that I would become an illustrator. But I soon realized I didn't have the chops for it. So I still wanted to go into design school. And while I was at school, our teachers, our figure drawing teachers, called us into the teacher's lounge. And they had the first Macintosh. And if you could picture 3 teachers around this Macintosh, and then about 7 of us all around the teachers, and we were all huddled over that little screen. And just seeing someone trying to draw on that screen just completely blew us away. So I thought that was the direction that I wanted to go. And when they offered classes on digital design, basically, and Photoshop, I got in there, and that's where I stayed.
No, that's really cool because it's so similar for myself. My dad goes through a lot of like hobby phases. When I was little, like cooking, collecting, photography, all different things. One of his phases was Photoshop. And so whenever he had that, I would just jump at any chance of like scanning things into the computer and manipulating it in any way I could. And I was just kind of super in love with like the idea of like between copy and pasting or even undoing, because that was something that's not, I can't necessarily even erase things, but like I'm drawing in marker, I can just go back and erase everything.
Yeah.
The idea of undoing things, it was a new concept to me. So I loved doing that. And then once I got to school, I joined the school newspaper and I worked in every capacity between design, writing. And I kind of just learned that it's like, if I can be creative in my job, I think I'll be pretty happy. So then I actually pivoted from here to marketing, so that I minored in design. It's like kind of still have the balance of all things creative. So you started in freelancing and I started in marketing. Do you think our paths shaped how we approach creativity differently?
I don't know, possibly. I think we're influenced by our surroundings. And since I was surrounded by me early on, you may be a bit more well-rounded than I am.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think our creative upbringings just gave us different lenses, points of view. But neither is better or worse. Just that shaped how we problem solve differently.
Yeah, I think with me being by myself a lot, I think when you start in a creative capacity, especially at an agency, a small agency, you're usually by yourself. And there's not a lot of people that think the way you do, communicate the way you do. So that, I think, was a benefit. When me being by myself, I could just kind of work through the whole process by myself without needing an interaction. But I greatly respond to good interaction.
I think everybody can benefit from great collaboration, which is something we'll get into in a little bit.
So what is the best piece of creative advice you can give?
I think the best piece of creative advice I would give someone is don't focus on the masses. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. You want to create for your target audience and kind of focus there so you can kind of build stronger connections. You're not going to please everyone. And I think it's so easy for us to be like, oh, well, this isn't going to sell, or this isn't the right copy because, not everyone understands it. But I think you have your niche, follow your niche, and kind of stay true to yourself.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, to be true to yourself. And for me, it's also be prepared to defend your work. You don't need to be defensive, but I can't tell you how many times that I've been in a situation where the client or even coworkers didn't understand the direction that I was going in, or didn't like color or a visual or something like that. And then I would break down the math behind, what I was trying to do, why I made this choice, why I went in this direction, why it's blue, why it's this, why it's that. And then once you get to the point that um, you can communicate that effortless, see, without effort, um, then 9 times out of 10, your coworker or hopefully the client will be more on board and understand that you didn't just slap some things together.
So, with that being said, what advice would you give your younger self?
I would tell myself not to be scared of people liking your work. I still hear it today. What if the client doesn't like it? What happens then? Well, what happens then is you listen, you ask the client, um, why don't you like this? No, first it's what don't you like? Why don't you like it? And then you play off of that. Because you can't make an informed change without knowing the full picture. So if someone is just going to say they don't like it because they don't like it, that helps no one. But if there is a reason and you respect that reason, you show them that you're listening, and then you pivot, hopefully they'll like the next direction that you take.
I think for me, what I would tell my younger self is that to not compare myself to others.
That's a great one. That's a great one.
It's so easy to look around and think someone else is on ahead, more successful, but really, it's not a race. There's no finish line here. We're all just kind of doing our best, and you'll get there when you get there. And that's kind of how, as much as I want to, try to live, but it's hard to not. It's hard to not compare yourself to others, especially when you've done the same things, go after school the same way, and you're like, oh, how'd they get so much farther? But it's not that simple. So how do you build trust with a client or your team?
First and foremost, I think that I try to be the best listener I can, and I try to ask as good a questions as I can to learn the most about the client or the team member. So when we start to work together, I know their likes, their dislikes, their personality, different traits like that. So I have things to key off of, and that I think facilitates the work. Then also trying to put coworkers and clients at ease. Sometimes there's, you're working with an agency, you're working with a designer, and you've got this idea in your head that designers just want to do what they want to do. So I like to put the client at ease and try to show them that I'm working for them. This is their project. It's not mine. This isn't going to be, I'm not looking for a portfolio piece every single time. I'm looking for the best solution to their problem.
That's a great point, right? Listening to the client and making sure that they feel heard is so important. But they're also looking to us for opinions and expertise, and sometimes it's kind of hard to get that across. So I try to be assertive and explain why we make the decisions and why we take certain actions. Because those explanations, as you kind of were saying before, can go a long way helping everyone understand the strategy behind the creatives.
How has technology changed the way you approach your creativity?
Technology has helped tremendously, just given the advancements in different graphic design programs such as Adobe Suite, honestly, even Canva. They've proved to be such a game changer because I'm able to work more efficiently and quicker without having to teach myself different aspects of the very, very advanced side of these programs. And I can continuously present new designs or go a different direction or look in different ways without having to, do a lot of more work on that again.
Yeah, I think along the same lines, I think technology has allowed me to be faster on concepting and creating options. There's nothing like you've got one idea and you copy it and you tweak one thing and you copy that, you tweak it, and then you've got 7 variations that to the naked eye doesn't look like anything, but it's a completely better design just for the fact that you didn't have to redraw every single
Right.
thing.
You can just do color switches, or, one element is different on this one versus.
Right, especially like with logo design, you've got an idea and you're looking at it. And when I first started, I would try and do the one design, and then I go to a completely different design. But I learned over time that if you copy that first one and just change things, rotate things just a little bit, you see how nuance plays such a huge deal, or makes a really huge impact on the evolution of the design. And there's where I think technology has really helped me out.
All right, so let's talk creative blocks. I mean, we all get them. How do you break out of a creative block?
I like to just get up from my desk and take a walk. It could be going outside, walk around for a little bit. I also like just walking around the office and hoping that, if I look into somebody else's office and they catch my eye, maybe they need to talk to, and maybe they need a break. So I'll sit down with them and chat it up a little bit, and not about work, just about anything. That kind of clears both our heads, and can get back to it after that. How about you?
I typically tend to switch mediums. So if I'm having a hard time coming up with some social media copy, I'll switch gears and design something. Or if I'm struggling to put something together that I like design-wise, I'll switch over to writing, clear my head, kind of clearing the top clutter that's in my head. And then once I feel re-energized, I go back to the task that I was working on, and typically I'll be able to do so. Now, if all else fails, I love a good nap.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. I tend to, sometimes I'll just go and, get on Instagram for a little bit, or watch something on YouTube as well. Something that's not necessarily design related, just some kind of weird thing. I'm on this kick where I don't even know the guy's name. He does all these, card magic, but it's all like, put 4 aces in a row. He shuffles the deck constantly. And that kind of like takes you completely away from what you're doing. And, and if that fails, Nick is really good. He and I will wrestle. We like to wrestle a little bit, sometimes some Greco-Roman, sometimes some Turkish slap and tap. So, a little exercise, a little clearing of the head, that always works.
Okay, pivoting here. What's your favorite part of the draws?
This is part of it right here. Laughing with coworkers, but collaboration. Collaborating with talented people makes each of us better. I look forward to it. You and I worked together quite a bit, which I always look forward to. I don't do a lot of social media stuff, so just hearing your takes on those kinds of things, working with the PR and marketing side, their mindsets and their way of handling, problem solving and things like that. I learned a lot from all of these people, and I hope they learn a lot from me. How about with you?
I mean,
Are you learning a lot from me?
Yeah, a great team really does make all the difference. But for me, no day is the same, and that really keeps me sane. I thrive on, going back and forth, and kind of going back to what I said about switching mediums earlier, is I do get that opportunity a lot to kind of go from one thing to the next very quickly. So I might be brainstorming something, I might be designing something, I might be fine-tuning some copy, really whatever it is. It's all so different, and it kind of keeps me at my toes and keeps me creative.
Thanks. So, are there any personal projects sparking your creativity lately, or a dream project you'd like to work on?
I mean, in my free time, I've been doing a lot of collaging, fitting existing things into different areas and how I would look differently. It's been really fun, very therapeutic, and just trying to get, some stuff that I'm proud of. But I think I'd love to be involved in like a bigger branding project. I think that would be really fun to work on.
Yeah, I like to do another branding project like the one we did for Frankie Martin's Garden. Um, I really liked starting from just ground zero and working with the client, understanding the concept that they're looking for, understanding, this is the tone, this is how we want people to feel when we come into, a place or the, food garden park or food truck park. I loved working out the logo and the variations of the logo and elements and things like that, and then how they played in with the social media campaign and how we did all that, and then into the website, into the merchandising, all of that kind of stuff. I thought as a team we all did such great work on that project that I would love if that was like every project.
How do you stay inspired in a fast-moving industry?
Well, my wife's choice of shirts for me is a big inspiration. I think I inspire a lot of people here as well. So
It certainly keep me from falling asleep at my desk.
there you go. But my big thing is I'm all over Instagram. I've got a core group of people that I follow, people that I consider mentors, graphic design geniuses, I think, who have been doing this, some a lot longer than me, and some a lot shorter than me. And I get inspired by them. I get inspired by them by them telling me that it's not easy all the time. There's these hurdles you have to overcome. There's the imposter syndrome that we all go through. So it's, when we all feel that at our desks, it's always nice to see people that inspire you. They're all going through the same stuff, and that's what we really have to remember. Yeah, those guys, their creativity, how they look at the world, how they talk and share their content, that's very inspiring to me, and I try to bring that into the office and also into my other work.
Okay. Going back to the idea of listening, I really kind of try to pay attention on social media as much as possible of what people are saying, what's going on, what's hot, what's not, what's topical, all of that. There's so much noise right now that it's hard sometimes to kind of squeeze in there and be like, okay, really what's relevant, what's not. But just seeing what people talk about is really what are the things where I get that inspiration from. And then another thing is just kind of staying in touch with people that I've either worked with or gone to school with, and kind of seeing where their success takes them and how they, how their life kind of transpires. It's really refreshing.
So I stated that I tend to use Instagram primarily. You being the social media manager, what platforms do you follow?
I tend to use Reddit, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. Not really a social app, but Slack. Yeah.
That's quite a diverse group there. Diverse. Word of the day.
Sticker word.
Ed. Okay, I think that went well.
Okay. Okay.
Wait, we got to think of something to say here. We're upside down.
I don't know.
What can we say because we're upside down?
Lauren, you got anything?
Damn it!
No.
I'm blank.
The creatives are creative. Creatives put two creative heads together. All right.